Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your July 2023 tarot card reading. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. For those of you who are new, my name is Jane. Thanks to all for being here. July is a really cool month. We have a lot of astrological transits happening. We have a Venus retrograde going on. We have a nodal transit going on. Chiron is retrograding as well. So I think it's going to be kind of an eventful month, but it's going to be really, really good at the same time for most of us. So these videos are tarot predictions. So be sure to watch your sun, moon, or rising sign, whichever resonates with you the most. If you're here for love, you can also check out your Venus sign. I will be posting astrology videos as well, but I'm going to start posting those around the middle of the month so we can kind of cover the transition from one sign into the next. So in that video, I will absolutely be talking at length about the Venus retrograde, the nodal transits, and all the other things that are going on. So be sure to stay tuned for that. If you want to be notified, please be sure to hit the little subscribe button with the little bell so you can see that notification. I've been getting so many messages of people asking me, Jane, where have you been? I haven't seen you in forever. And I've been here. So just make sure you hit that because I think some people just aren't seeing my videos pop up. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get into the reading. You guys know I love you. Have an amazing month. Take care. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your July 2023 tarot card reading. So let's go ahead and see what comes through for you for July. Okay, we have the Death Rebirth card. So we're all kind of going through this process, by the way. It has a lot to do with what Pluto and Saturn are doing. But this is a time for you to acknowledge that you're just becoming a different person. Plain and simple. Regardless of whether you like it or not, it's just happening. And the things that used to interest you or satisfy you or the things you used to be able to put up with are just simply not the case anymore. And sometimes, especially right now, we have a Venus retrograde happening in Leo, which is certainly going to bring out a lot of that playfulness. It's going to bring out that inner child. And in your third house, it's going to bring out the desire for movement and curiosity and learning a lot of new things. And I think the more and more you spread your wings, the more the less and less attractive where you've been actually becomes. You know, I think this isn't about where you've been so much as it is about where you're going. And where you're going is really, really drawing you in. You're aligning with some kind of a destiny, especially as that North Node makes its way into Aries this month as well. It's going to be really hard for us to not be connected with ourselves with that North Node in Aries. We're all coming to this place. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect for everyone, but I think we are all coming into this place where we feel really secure about who we are and what we want out of life. And when we have that sense of security, we no longer need to hang on to anything that falls outside of that purview. And I don't know, it makes it easier sometimes to start taking new steps in a new direction, especially when we have an innate sense of adventure about it. So who is in the environment that Gemini needs to be aware of? Who is in the environment for Gemini? We have a Knight of Cups. I love this. Knight of Cups is a very romantic quality. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partner, but it is someone who has an overall romantic viewpoint on life. They are also adventurous, but they're more relaxed. They're a relaxed person. This is someone that probably sees what you have going on and to a degree wants to be a part of it. Like if you're building a new business or something, this might be someone who wants to come work for you. It could be a romantic partner wanting to come in. It could be someone trying to make amends, whatever the case is, but they're definitely being drawn into Gemini's life. Death can weirdly be a really magnetic force. This transformation, this change, it's like something comes alive in you. Something awakens within you. Of course, that's going to be attractive. Of course, you're going to be, visible. People are going to actually see you. And of course, they're going to want to kind of weasel their way in a little bit. But don't worry, the Knight of Cups is nice. I think this is someone that you would like. This is someone that you would likely get along with. This is someone that might share a vision or really understand where your creativity is coming from. At the very, very base level, this is someone with whom you can be just really honest about stuff. And they have that unconditional love thing about them. Some people are just really good at that. So you can trust yourself with them. You can share yourself with them. You can, share parts of yourself or share your thoughts, share your feelings with them, and you're safe to do so. And sometimes that is all we need. We just need that kind of support to help get us through what it is we're going through. Okay? We need that safety net. So what else does Gemini need to know here? What else is coming out? We have a 9 of Wands, Page of Cups, and 6 of Wands. So the Page of Cups, it might be connected with the Knight of Cups. It's clearly a message of some kind. Now, often I see the Page of Cups as being something unexpected, something that kind of comes from an unlikely source or an unlikely place that we wouldn't normally think it would come from. Sometimes it can be a synchronicity that occurs. I do think the Page of Cups, though, is going to help Gemini feel more secure of what they're doing and what they're thinking. Look, Chiron will also retrograde this month, and it is likely that self-doubt and insecurities are going to surface. But I don't see any reason why we should succumb to them. Now, sometimes those things come up, and sometimes it helps us stay safe in a good way. I don't think they're keeping you safe in a good way right now. Your doubts and insecurities are not keeping you safe. All right. I think you are at a place where, regardless of how insecure or how much confidence you don't have, regardless of those things, you can still move forward and you can do it afraid. All right. Because with that 9 of Wands, it feels like you've been keeping something. You've been holding something back. And right now, I don't think you want to be holding it back anymore. You don't want to contain it. I think that's part of the Leo stuff. It's not about containment. It's not about hiding it from the world. It's about sharing it with the world. It's about putting it out there and allowing others to see it. It's about being available and not hiding behind things. And I see you're going to be really successful with whatever it is. So there's really no need to be worried. And I think this Page of Cups, it's like sometimes we get that sign, and maybe the Knight of Cups is the delivery of that, maybe not. But sometimes we just need that sign that says, do it. Do it scared. Do it afraid. And if you do, it's going to work out. I'm seeing a lot of things working out. Now, it may not take the exact route that you think it's going to take, but it is going to work out one way, shape, or form. 6 of Wands is victory and success. That's canon. So, I'm not worried about you. Let's see what else. We have the Queen of Coins. We have the 7 of Cups. Okay, so this is that period of, I think, doubt and feeling overwhelmed and feeling like you have all these choices, and this is you getting all in your head. And Geminis can often do that with your Mercury rulership. And when Mercury is transiting through Cancer and Leo, it really wants to express itself. Cancer and Leo are the 2 zodiac signs ruled by luminaries, the sun and the moon. And the luminaries are very much about your own individualized personal experience. And sometimes we need to process what that even is. How do we really feel about this? How do we think about this? And it kind of happens in a way that doesn't always happen. it really is kind of selfish, but like selfish in a good way, where you're prioritizing yourself above all else. But it does take time to figure out how you really think and feel about stuff. With the Two of Swords, it indicates that you're going to be in some kind of a crossroads. You're going to have faced some kind of a choice. Although I don't really think that choice is the choice that you think it is. And if you're feeling debilitated by a choice, neither of them are it. If a choice that comes your way this month puts you in a state of confusion, don't choose either thing. You haven't fully uncovered what you're truly thinking and feeling about stuff. The Queen of Coins is that reminder that things are moving kind of slow right now. Jupiter is in Taurus. We don't need a lot of speed. We can take our time. We can allow ourselves to develop. We can allow ourselves to awaken in a way that needs to be awakened. And especially if something has been dormant for quite some time, or if you've been hiding something, you may want to, slowly bring it out. So it's not like you're not only shocking the world, but shocking yourself either. This death rebirth process is not an overnight thing. It may take months to years for this death rebirth process to fully take hold. I'm personally aligning this death rebirth with Pluto and Saturn. So we're looking at least to the end of 2024. So you don't have to worry about time. You don't have to worry about hurrying up and getting it done. And the Queen of Coins knows that. The Queen of Coins, I always say she's my gardener. And she knows that when she goes out to her garden and she plants seeds, they have to sit in the darkness for a while before they start to sprout. And she has to be concerned about the environment, the sunlight, the soil, the water, before anything can happen. Because if there is just nothing but pure darkness, the chances of those seeds sprouting is slim to none. She also knows that once the seeds do begin to sprout, it takes a while before the fruit shows up. Okay, so allowing yourself to move forward comfortably in time is going to be to your benefit 100%. And if you have something that you are confronting and it does not make you feel solid and secure and settled, it is not your choice. It's not the choice to make. I'm going to change my tune on this Knight of Cups for some of you. It will not resonate with all of you. But this Knight of Cups might be pressuring you to move faster than you're prepared to move. And if that is the case, then you're just going to have to be able to really communicate what you need. Now, generally speaking, the Knight of Cups will be understanding and somewhat accommodating. I don't see that there is a threat of the Knight of Cups leaving just because you say you need more time with something. The opportunity is not going to be completely taken off the table. All right, there's still, I feel like a lingering or a lurking, but not a creepy lurking. They're just around, they're here, they're available. But if they are pressuring you and it puts you in this state, you need to tell them to back off. Otherwise, if you do make a decision in this place, you're not really going to be letting anything out. You'll probably have to stuff something back in the cage in order to accommodate whatever this is. And that's just going to lead to more internal fragmentation. All right. So what else for Gemini? Last row for Gemini. What else do they need to know for the month? Another Death card, not a surprise. A Fool card, also not a surprise. And a Nine of Swords. Why are Death? Well, first of all, Death is obviously a repeat, but Fool's not a surprise either, because I often see the Fool as being the rebirth component. But it is coming after Death, and yet he's also diving into Death at the same time. It's almost as though you are at the beginning of this transformation process and you are so ready for it. And you are so ready and available and receptive to it. You're not pushing away or against this death process. I think this is something that you genuinely feel excited about because you know who it is that you want to become, and you're ready to shed those layers and to eliminate the things that aren't working. You're ready to make your life better, even if it does mean you have to get a little destructive with it. I don't see Gemini worrying about the destruction so much. Now, I don't mean you're being sloppy about stuff or careless. You are being thoughtful with things, but it's kind of like when you're ready to clean out your garage. This is that moment when you open the garage and you're like, all right, we got to get everything out. Like if we're going to organize this, we got to pull everything out so that we can properly sort through it and go through it, and then only put the stuff back in that needs to be put back in. It's kind of like that. So you're kind of diving in, you're getting your hands dirty right away. You're not avoiding anything. You're just showing up for it. And because of that, it actually feels somewhat enjoyable. And I think this is a part of the playfulness of the Venus retrograde in Leo, as strange as it may seem. Death can be a playful process sometimes. Playing with your identity, playing with your sense of self, playing with your life. And the Fool is completely here for it. Let's freaking go. Let's freaking do it. And will there be fear? Yeah, of course. And even walking away, like sometimes when we have this choice, there is security in knowing that there are two or more, like let's say two paths, two swords, right? That sometimes there's security in knowing that there are two paths in front of us, even if we don't really totally like those two paths, at least they're there. But one of the reasons why I think you're going to be turning your back on this, first of all, it seems to really be stressing you out. I don't think you like being in this position. The reason you don't like it is because you don't like the options. And you're afraid of waiting for the next option. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you turn your back on the choices that are on the table for you right now, it's not going to be long before the next one comes along. You're not really shutting down the only options for yourself. What you're doing is you are eliminating the distractions, because these feel like distractions because they're putting you in this like really stressed out place. Things that are meant for you don't put you in this stressed out place. There's a couple different kinds of stress. There's the stress of growth and the stress of expansion, which is good and positive, and it's usually something that we kind of enjoy a little bit. And then there's the stress of something that drains us and is negative and has a bad influence on our lives. And I think this is kind of the negative kind of stress. It's not the kind that you need to chase and harness and nurture and go into. See, the Fool is not jumping into the Nine of Swords, it's jumping into the death process. Two completely different things. And one of the things too with these two swords, it feels like they're not a big enough change. Gemini, I think you're ready for a big change, like mentally and emotionally, you're ready for a big change. You're ready for things to be different in a big way. And these two swords, they're just not big enough. And inherently you know that, which is why the Nine of Swords is coming out. Because when you really look at those two options, your body is physically rejecting them. This, by the way, this anxiousness, this nervousness, this sleeplessness is your physical body reacting to something. I'm going to tell you a little story, personal story. I hope you don't mind. When I was younger, I was dating a guy a little bit here and there, and every time I got together with him, something weird would happen. And it was always something physical on my body, like I'd get a really bad sunburn after just a few minutes of being in the sun. Or like I would get food from a restaurant and it would be like sour. Like I got a sour meat once and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad, right? And every time I was around him, something like that was happening. And I came to a conclusion many, many years later that that was my body physically rejecting this guy, or rejecting the possibility of this guy, or whatever the case was. And kind of bad luck type of things would happen whenever I was around him because it just was not the right fit. And I kind of feel like there's that type of feeling around this. It's like the people or the places or the feelings that you get when you do anything associated with these paths, it's like they're trying to communicate to you, telling you to get the heck out of there. This isn't where you're supposed to be. This isn't your path. This isn't the right thing for you. Versus like the things that may scare you a little bit, like letting something out of its cage, that might be really scary, but it's like the good kind of scary. So I do think you're going to be doing incredible things, and you're going to be doing them scared. You're going to do it scared. You're going to do it afraid. But you're going to do it because it's what has to be done. It feels like a destiny thing. This makes you want to die. It makes you die a little bit inside at the thought of it. Okay? Now, one thing with this Knight, the Knight does seem to be, for some of you, someone that you can talk to about your reactions to this Two of Swords. I'm not having a good response to this. It's keeping me up at night. I don't like the way it's feeling, right? The Knight of Cups isn't going to try to judge you. They're not going to try to tell you what you're feeling. They're probably just going to put their arms around you and be like, well, whatever you think, whatever you need, whatever, I'm here for you regardless of what you choose. That's a really high quality support that we all need in our lives. All right, so what else? Finishing discontent and boredom. Yeah. Well, the discontentment often comes with death. That's why death happens, because we've exhausted whatever we were meant to learn from a certain circumstance, and we're ready for the next one. And the boredom, that's the thing too, is like a little part of you dies inside. Now, I'm not saying you always have to chase your excitement all the time, because that in and of itself can also be a form of repression and all of that. That's not what I think is going on here, though. There do seem to be options that are viable and stable, and yet I think Gemini says, nope, I'd rather wait. I'd rather take my time. I'd rather learn and develop. I'd rather let this out of the cage. I'd rather explore myself. I'd rather explore this option for myself than do something that's laid out for me, maybe even a little bit too perfectly. In a way, I think maybe Gemini is choosing the more imperfect and more impractical path for themselves, just because that is what their soul is telling them to do, and for no other reason other than that. Okay, we're going to pull out clarifiers. We'll see what other information comes out. For those of you who are new, I'm going to talk about the cards. If I could talk, the new cards I'm pulling out, I'm going to talk about for another 25 to 30 minutes. And we're going to cover all of those in the comprehensive reading, and the link for that will be found in the description box down below if you want to join. Okay? So let's take a look here at this death rebirth. What else does Gemini need to know? Eight of Swords, Judgment, and King of Coins. Knight of Coins. And for the Knight of Cups, we have the Hierophant. This is actually for the environment in general. Queen of Swords, Lovers, beautiful. Okay. And now clarifying the Nine of Swords. What else does Gemini need to know about the Nine of Swords? King of Cups. Nine of Wands. I don't know what's going on with my brain today. Hanged Man. Another Queen of Swords. Knight of Coins, Three of Coins, Ace of Swords. I actually really like the swords. Eight of Coins, Four of Swords, the Empress, beautiful. Five of Coins, King of Coins, and the Devil. I'm feeling a lot of temptation. See, exactly, Three of Swords. I'm feeling a lot of temptation. People are trying to convince you. They're trying to persuade you, and I'm not really liking that at all. Okay. Knight of Cups. Yeah, I do like the Knight of Cups a lot. Nine of Swords. Four of Cups. Six of Cups. The Emperor. Another Eight of Swords. And a Wheel of Fortune. Okay, this is getting deep. I think this is going to be a little bit of an emotional reading. So this is where we're going to pick up. Again, the link for the comprehensive reading where we talk about all these cards is found in the description box down below. Thank you so much, Gemini. I love you. Have a great month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.